name is Julie Fry. How many car accidents do you think a typical driver has in the lifetime of their driving? 1, 2, more? According to the Property Casualty Insurance Association of America, the typical driver will have an accident about every 17.8 years, or over the lifespan of their driving, from the time they start at 16 until the time they end driving, they will have an average of 3 to 4 accidents. I, myself, to date, have had 15 car accidents. 1, 5. Because of these 15 car accidents, I have learned some very valuable life lessons that have caused me to make some major detours and changes in my life. I'd like you to come for a drive with me, and we'll go down memory lane where I will show you 4 lessons that I have learned. Have no fear. I promise I will return you safely. So fasten your seatbelts. Let's begin. My first accident happened in late November. My second one in January. My third one in February. By this time, I'm thinking, what is going on here? Do I have a target on my back? Is it me? Is it my car? Is it my driving? It can't be my driving because none of these accidents were my fault. I attempted to get the situation under control in every way I could think of. I began to drive very defensively and very carefully and have attention to detail and slow my driving down, and still the accidents continued. I began to let other people drive. Where I wasn't driving, I was passenger, and still the accidents continued. I even tried using hand gestures to the other drivers in the other cars to prevent me having a car accident. No, 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 it's not the hand gesture you're thinking about. The hand gesture was, stop, don't hit me, please. I remember one day in particular, I was going home from work. A woman came flying out of the Hy-Vee parking lot and T-boned me on the passenger side of my car. My car wasn't drivable, and so I called my son. I said, please come and get me. I just want to go home and lie down. So he came and got me, and on the way home, we got into an accident and ended up in an ambulance going to the emergency room. So this brings me to life lesson number 1. You can't control what happens to you. As a person who likes control and likes to control everything and everyone around them to a point of becoming perfectionistic, this was a hard lesson for me to learn, but an important one nonetheless. After about accident number 4, I became very paranoid every time I was on the road. I'm thinking, is my life destined to be lived as a crash test dummy? I became hyper-vigilant about checking my rear view mirrors and checking my side view mirrors and scanning the road for any sign of something coming towards me. And every time I entered a car, whether as a passenger or a driver, my heart started racing, my palms would sweat, I would grip my teeth, and by the time I made it to my destination, I was emotionally and physically exhausted. When something keeps happening to you over and over and over again, it is really easy to let fear and anxiety become your backseat drivers in your life. I was ready to go back to horse and buggy and quit cars altogether, but I couldn't. I had to keep driving and I had to keep getting in cars. But I had a counselor friend who explained to me something very important, and that is fear, anxiety, and paranoia are emotional states that are based in something that exists in the future. My car accidents were something that exists in the past. The past is behind us. It's done. It's over with. The future hasn't taken place yet. The only real time that exists is right here, right now, in the present moment. And that's what my counselor told me, is that I needed to spend my time and my energy living in the present moment. And he used this illustration. He said, Julie, you cannot live your life looking in your rear view mirror. You can't live your life looking at maps. You need to live your life looking through the windshield. And that brings us to our next lesson. Live your life in the present moment. Have you ever had a moment in your life where you thought you weren't going to survive? Or maybe your life flashed before your eyes? I have. I recall one day sitting on a highway. I was stopped, my left turn signal on, while I'm waiting for the oncoming traffic to go by so I can turn into my destination. And I felt a force hit me from behind that I can't even describe to you. The moments after that were flashes because I was slipping in and out of consciousness. I remember being surrounded by all this white, and that would have been my airbag. And then I remember feeling trapped and restrained and choked and like I couldn't breathe, and my seatbelt had clenched across my body and was pulling me back and choking me. I remember a strong smell of gasoline and seeing smoke and smelling like something's burning. And I thought, this is it. I'm done. But I survived. I remember another situation where I was driving on a country road at night, and I came up over the hill, and the road is filled with a herd of Angus cattle. There was no time for me to stop. My only option was to head for the ditch. And so I did. And it was a deep ditch. And my car was very old. And by the time it hit the bottom of that ditch, the doors flew open, my seatbelt broke, and it ejected me from the car. But my ankle got caught in the car. So the car's traveling along the bottom of the ditch, and I'm on the outside of the car with my ankle still in it, being dragged right alongside the car. And I looked, and the car is going alongside my body just inches from my face. And I thought, this is it. I'm done. But I survived. One other time was when I got T-boned. I was a passenger. And I looked up, and there's a car heading right towards my lap. I remember feeling the impact of that, and then again, flashes as I went in and out of consciousness. Glass everywhere and mangled pieces of metal. I remember hearing the sound of a saw and metal being pried. And then I heard the paramedic say, I can't find her pulse. I can't find her pressure. And again, I thought I was done for. But I survived. If you've ever had experiences like this in your life, it's changed you. You begin to realize that life is precious and time is short. And you just don't have the luxury of being on earth forever. And that brings us to life lesson number 3. You need to focus your energy and your time on what's really important. Work less. Play more. Love more. Laugh a lot. Follow your dreams. I myself left an unfulfilling career. I ended an abusive relationship. I traveled. I went back to school. Got remarried. Car accidents usually result in a minimum of 2 trips. One trip to the auto body shop to repair your car, and another trip to the human body shop to repair your body, the doctor's office. With 15 car accidents, you can only imagine how much time I spent at the doctor's office, between x-rays and surgeries and getting bones repaired and having plates and screws for joint reconstruction and medication and injection and physical therapy, and on and on. And as you can imagine, with each accident and each injury, it became more and more complicated and more difficult to repair my body. And soon the doctors were telling me things like, we can't fix this. There isn't anything else we can do for you. You'll just have to live with this. I'm not sure you're going to be able to walk again. You need to be on disability. You're not going to be able to work. You're looking at a wheelchair real soon. The only thing we can do for you is refer you to a pain clinic where they will teach you how to live with the high amounts of pain and teach you how to cope with your situation. And so I went to the pain clinic. I didn't go through one, I went through 3. And something very interesting they taught me. And it's this. Pain might be a necessary side effect after the car accidents I had been in, but suffering is completely optional. What you accept as your own truth becomes your reality, which brings us to our final detour and our final life lesson, is decide on your own truth. I decided my truth was different than the doctor's truth. And so here I am, standing before you, not in a wheelchair, not with any braces or orthopedic devices, and not on disability. So I see you've all arrived safely at our conclusion and the end of memory lane. And here I am, 15 car accidents later, with these 4 lessons that I learned that caused me to make changes or detours in my life. Number 1, you can't control your life. Number 2, live your life in the present moment. Number 3, focus on what is important in your life. And number 4, decide on your own truth. The truth is this, and I really believe this. Everything happens to us for a reason, and there are no accidents. Only lessons to learn and choices for us to make. You really can't control what happens in your life, but you completely can control what you choose to do about it.